The Non-Proliferation Treaty, or NPT, was implemented in 1970 and currently has 189 states as party to the treaty. It is committed to end the spread of nuclear weapons, disarmament, and the right to peacefully use nuclear technology. 5 members are recognized as nuclear states under NPT: the United States, Russia, the United Kingdom, France, and China. There are 3 non-member countries who tested nuclear weapons: India, Pakistan, and North Korea. Israel is expected to have nuclear weapons, while Iran and Syria are believed to be developing nuclear weapon programs. What's the role of IAEA actually in enforcing or supporting countries in using nuclear power?
There are many areas, many things that we can do. One is to establish a safety standard. This is a very important reference point for member states. We are sending peer review missions, and peer review missions is an important measure for measure or incentive to improve safety. Also, the IAEA is the focal point for the international response, and the UN organizations have so-called joint plan, and IAEA is functioning as the focal point. And finally, transparency again. The IAEA shared the information with all the countries, and only with the full transparency we can restore the confidence in nuclear power.
What about nuclear weapon development? What's the role of IAEA in this?
The IAEA's role is to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons. For that purpose, IAEA conduct a verification, and this is called safeguards. All the countries which are the non-nuclear weapon state under Non-Proliferation Treaty should use nuclear energy, nuclear power, exclusively for a peaceful purpose, and IAEA verifies it.
Is Iran developing nuclear weapons?
Iran's nuclear facilities are under the safeguard agreement, and as far as these facilities declared under the safeguard agreement, we can verify that they are in peaceful purpose. But we do not know, we do not have the credible assurance that there is not undeclared activities. And if there is some undeclared activities, we don't know if it is for peaceful purpose or other purpose. And therefore, for the declared activities, we can say they are for peaceful purpose. But we cannot give them credible assurance that all the activities are for peaceful purpose.
So what can we do with countries like that?
We need to get more cooperation and full cooperation from Iran and other countries in question. Fully implementing the safeguard agreement, other international rules, including United Nations Security Council resolution, is just needed.
I think countries like Iran or maybe North Korea as well, they must be wondering how come they cannot develop nuclear weapons when other countries like the US or China already have nuclear weapons.
The 5 countries are designated as some nuclear weapon states under the Non-Proliferation Treaty. And Iran joined the NPT, Non-Nuclear Weapon Treaty, as non-nuclear weapon state. So they have committed not to use nuclear material other than peaceful purpose. So they have to honor their commitment.
So if any countries in the world right now, they want to develop nuclear weapons, can they do that?
Those countries under the NPT cannot do that, except for United States, UK, France, China, and Russia.
Mm-hmm. North Korea, what is the current status?
North Korea has developed nuclear explosive devices and detonated them. So they must have at least nuclear explosive devices. But at the same time, they are committed for them to the denuclearization of Korean Peninsula.
Can we trust North Korea?
There is commitment, so it has to honor its commitment. And in order that we can trust them, their activities and commitment should be verified. And IAEA is ready to verify their activities. But in order to do that, we need agreement.
China is becoming a rising powerhouse in the world in terms of military as well. Is it a worry that China has nuclear power, has nuclear weapons?
The IAEA is not making military outlook. We are specialized for the peaceful use. So I'm not the right person to answer that question.
A lot of ASEAN countries are trying to build nuclear power plants. Is that a worry? In my view, we continue to have the problems of climate change. Fossil fuel is expensive, and every country wants to have energy security, and energy is essential for the development. So it is understandable that many countries, perhaps including ASEAN countries, continue to keep nuclear power as an option. But if they do that, IAEA wants to help them to make their use as safe as possible and as secure as possible. What's your personal stance towards nuclear power usage? Japan has experiences with Hiroshima and Nagasaki before. Personally, how do you feel about this?
I feel this must be examined in a wide context and long-term perspective. Nuclear power cannot be judged in a simplistic manner. Whether it is right or wrong, it is good or bad, that is too simplistic. We need to find the best mix, and we need to consider the situation of each country, and we need to reflect the view of the people. So this is a very complicated matter, and a situation of each country is different. There is no one unique answer.
For nuclear weapons, do you think the world would be a better place with or without those weapons? Because some would argue it's used as a deterrence.
I come from Japan, and I firmly believe that nuclear weapons should be eliminated. And I believe that we should pursue a world free from nuclear weapons. IAEA can contribute for nuclear disarmament through verification. Or we are working to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons. This is helpful to create a world free from nuclear weapons. Also, we have the terrorist problems. Nowadays, even terrorists can develop nuclear weapons. And we have database, we have training programs to prevent nuclear material falling into the wrong hands. So in various areas, IAEA is working and contributing to create a world free from nuclear weapons.
Does the IAEA also monitor whether nuclear weapons fall into the hands of terrorists as well?
Nuclear material and nuclear radio. But we are not the international organization monitoring nuclear weapons.
But do you also look at the network of where all these nuclear materials go to?
Yes, we have the database. And varying signal is that every year we receive some 180 reports involving the illicit trafficking of nuclear material and radioactivities. So this is a real threat, and we need to stay vigilant.
And what is the IAEA doing about this with the database that we have?
First, understanding the situation, analyze the trend is needed to develop response. We train people, we donate nuclear detectors to prevent nuclear terrorism. And we did cooperate with you in Beijing Olympics. IAEA people were behind Beijing Olympics to prevent nuclear terrorism.